Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Mixed Signals. You guys, this is the part 2 about the desperation with Holly and Marcus. I'm sorry you guys, my cutoff game is fast. My phone didn't have any charge left. So where I left off was, Marcus was always ignoring me. He was disrespectful. He's playing his little PS3 and ignoring everyone. The little baby got to go outside now. She can't even watch her TV shows. Now we're in March. So Holly had gotten her state taxes back. Got her federal back. She had already blew through the federal taxes, which was close to like $3,300. Gotten her state back, which was, I don't know, I'm guessing around, couldn't be more than $800. So altogether, you guys, she got about $4,000. Now, again, she got the PS, the tattoos, all the dinners, all the the romance and stuff like that. She was paying for everything. She was paying for some D, okay, because she was so desperate, and he was willing to accept. Now, the sister's not allowed over anymore because Holly had found out from the sister's mouth and the adopted brother Marcus that they were having sex together in her bed. Now, Marcus is getting irritated by me. He's not wanting to come over all the time. Now he's got himself a job. He's getting ready with his first check, of course, to get his own place because he can't go home to mom and dad, because that's why mom and dad kicked him out of the house, is because he was having sex with his, sister. So he couldn't go home anymore. Now I end up leaving again for a weekend, you guys, and I just have to get away from all this. I am stressed out. I am like, this is insane. We could write a book about this, but thankfully I have the courage to come on here and share these stories. So now I'm away for the weekend, and guess who I come home to? Marcus is in the house, the sister's in the house. Now, remember when I told you guys him and his siblings were kicked out of their, they got evicted from their apartment. You guys, I go upstairs to my room, and this is March. I go upstairs to my room, and there's a young man in my bed, and I am hollering around, who the F are you? Get out of my bed. What's wrong with you? Someone broke in the house. They are running up the stairs, the brother, the sister, and Holly, and they're all laughing at me, right? And I'm like, I don't know what's so funny. I don't even know why you're here. I don't even understand what's going on here. To the sister, I'm like, I don't understand this dynamic. Holly, you have lost your mind. And she's like, girl, we're just playing around, Nikki. It's not a big deal. We're having fun, this and that. And I'm like, there is nothing fun. It's their brother in my bed. Tell me why, you guys. Marcus sits there and he goes, Nikki, you're so uptight. You just need some good D. I said, no, I said, I don't want nothing to do with your guys' family. I've been trying to get rid of y'all for the past 3 months. Now, I said, y'all are insane. I'm upset, but I'm just trying to laugh through it because I'm like, this family is so crazy. I said, I can't even be angry at them. Like I said, I'm just trying to laugh rather than cry. The gentleman gets out of my bed. He's apologizing. I said, oh, you crazy for real? Because you don't know me like that. You should ask your brother and sister, because they don't like me. And it's mutual. I don't like them either. Now, they're all having a conversation downstairs. I go down. I make myself something to eat. Like I said, I just got back into town, and I'm kind of looking at them like, y'all are crazy, really crazy. Now, I'm asking the brother, I said, so what do you think about, the parents kicking them out? This brother, you guys, nonchalant, well, they shouldn't have been sleeping together. Girl, I said, yeah, well, we just found that out. Yeah, that's not good. And he was like, no, well, that's why they got kicked out. My mom and dad aren't going to have that. They opened up their home to him and, his family. They've been so helpful, and, they just disrespected him, or disrespecting my parents. And I'm like, ooh, wee, from the belly, I was like, well, yeah, that's how it's going to go, I said, y'all are crazy for real. Now, Like I said, Marcus is working at this time, getting ready to get himself an apartment. That's where all his money's going. So he don't have time for Holly. Remember, you guys, January they started dating. This is 2 months. Okay? Desperation. Desperation will get you killed. Watch. You know. So he don't have time to be around Holly. I am thankful because I'm like, good, he's not here anymore. We can hang out. Holly is losing it, crying. She's moody. She's just become bipolar. She's up and down with her moods all the time, angry, sad, happy one moment. She's constantly trying to call him to come over and hang out, go out to dinner, do these things. She comes to me, you guys, end of March, and she goes, Nikki, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money to pay the rent. I said, am I being punked? Is this a joke? Of course you have enough money to pay the rent. What are you talking about? You just got your taxes back. And she was like, I spent all of it. I was like, Holly, you spent all your taxes on him? And she was like, well, on us. And I was like, I was like, Holly, you don't even have enough money to pay rent for April. And she was like, no, don't make me feel worse than I already feel. Nikki, please, I'm going to need your help. And I'm like, oh, no. So, I'm like, well, I could come up with, a few hundred more, but you're going to have to ask your family. Like, I didn't get tax returns like that. I didn't have money like that. I got taxes for going, being in school. So it was like an extra $1,000. But it was like, I have to pay, I'm paying rent, I'm paying for, car maintenance, I'm paying for tires, where I was like, oh, I could give you a couple hundred more, but you're going to have to ask your family for help. She's like, I can't ask my family, Nikki. And I'm like, well, you dug yourself into a hole, for real. I was like, I can't believe that you've already spent like $4,000. Now, I said, well, since Marcus is working, I said, start asking him for that money. You thought he disappeared before. He changed his number. He was nowhere to be found. Holly is, again, acting a fool, showing up to where she thinks he's working, calling all the friends, the sister, girl, inviting the sister to come over to talk about Marcus and what's going on. The sister, like I said, you guys, she was only 18, sitting there having a glass of wine with Holly, talking about, yeah, I haven't heard from him either. I've been staying at my parents' house and they don't want me to talk to him. Just insanity. Now, like I told you guys, it's not going to end well for him, and I told him to his face, this is going to end, not well for you, horrific, if anything. Now, Holly can't get a hold of him. Again, she barely was able to make the rent, with the help of her parents. So of course they came down on her. A couple weeks go by, he's not answering again, or, he changed his number. He's wanting nothing to do with her. And like he had said, he was going to pay her, that money back. Let alone when the young girl, his sister was at the house, she was like, would you be able to give me, like $50 for doing your nails that day? And the sister was like, no, I don't really have it like that. No, I'm living with my parents and, I'm in between thinking about going to school and working. She was just like, sorry, I don't have it. I'm like, girl. Now, it's came to, the attention of Holly that he's not going to pick up the phone anymore. He's not going to come around, let alone she was off doing something with some other man and, trying to get him to help her out in some kind of way. And this man would be, coming over late night, hit it and quit it. So I was like, oh, well, she's over, Marcus. She's got somebody else filling the void. We're getting into April, mid-April, and now the car comment comes back around where, like I said, Holly was just a mess. So, like I said, I was fixing up my car or whatever and just maintaining. And Holly was like, yeah, I was dating a guy who used to drive that car around. And I was like, not my car. And she was like, yeah, and said the guy's name that I had been dating. I was like, you were dating him? And she was like, yeah. I was like, oh, shoot. Y'all, listen to Karma real quick. The gentleman that I'm dating while I'm in school, he's going to her house to kick it. In my car. Having sex with her while I'm at school. I said, oh, no, 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 no. I was like, why didn't you tell me that in the beginning? And she was like, well, I didn't really think that much of it. And she was like, I thought it was, a different car. She was like, but I mean, since it's the same guy, remember the mutual friend I said, did you know about this? And she's like, yeah, girl, I knew the whole time. I don't talk to her to this day. Matter of fact, that girl's in prison right now. The mutual friend, don't talk to Holly, right? So I was like, why didn't, anyone tell me? I was like, y'all ain't nothing to me, right? I end up moving out in April, okay? So I only lived with Holly for 4 months. I moved out in April because I found out, she's sleeping with the same guy, which I was like, he wasn't committed to me, but y'all could have let me know that. Let alone all the craziness that had happened with her and Marcus. I said, you know what? I'm done with this. And you don't have money. You're constantly running after men to fill a void. You're desperate, you're out of control. You put me in bad situations. I said, and you're not getting any better. I said, I'm going to have to move out. And this was like into April. I told her I didn't pay rent for May, and she was cool with that. I think she felt bad, where she was like, oh, I told her that, I shouldn't have told her that, and then she lied about, knowing whether it was my car or not. She knew she was being crazy. She even admitted, yeah, I've been kind of out of control lately. I don't know what's wrong with me, Nikki, and I'm like, I gotta go. I end up moving out, like I said, end of April. Now, a month goes by, so here we are at the end of May. I get a call from the mutual friend that we have that Holly is now on something that used to be on the internet that you could post and meet people at hotel room. It was called Backpage. And, she was selling herself, for rent and bills. And like I said, she had a 3-year-old daughter. She didn't want to go back home and live with her mom and dad. She couldn't do that anymore. She was like, I'm too old for that, and they won't let me do anything, and they'll tell me how to parent my daughter. So, Holly was sitting there selling herself on Backpage. There was a gentleman that, I shouldn't even say gentleman, a pimp, who moved up from California that was posting, that had seen her on Backpage, and he started talking to her. He had a girl doing the same thing, so he took Holly under his wing, having her do the same thing. And my friend, my mutual friend, is telling me, oh my gosh, Nikki, she said the first time she did it, she made $500. And I was like, that's nothing. I was like, that is nothing. Let alone, I was like, that's sad that she went from up here to down here in just a matter of months, all out of desperation. Like I said, desperate people do desperate things. Kanye West said, the prettiest people do the ugliest things on the road to riches and diamond rings, right? So, she was doing it all. Now, it didn't last very long. Watch this. June comes around now, and the mutual friend calls me, and she goes, Nikki, did you see on the news what happened? I said, girl, tell me what happened. What's going on? And she goes, Nikki, you remember that guy Holly was dating? I said, I sure do, Marcus, yes. And she goes, girl, he got I said, oh, that's not good. I was like, he probably owed money. She goes, no. She goes, he got by the, pimp from California that Holly was working with. I said, it better not have been a setup. So now the mutual friend is breaking down this whole story about how he, got into his own place. He hadn't been talking to Holly for a couple months. He ended up asking, saying, hey, I'll buy that PlayStation off of you. Can I come pick it up? I have the money for it. She goes, I want the money for the tattoos, half the dinners, this and that, right? Just being petty. And he was like, well, I can give you right now the money for the PlayStation. I don't have all that extra money, but I'll give you the money for the PlayStation. So, you know, she's going back and forth with him, where finally one day, it's like a Friday, she picks up the phone, she calls him and says, well, come to my house, give me that money for the, you know, PlayStation. You know, we'll talk about a payment arrangement for the tattoos. He was like, cool, on my way. Goes to the house to meet Holly, and he's talking with Holly. They're going back and forth, and the pimp comes out and is like, you better give her the money right now. Matter of fact, let's go to the ATM so we can drain your bank account and get all that money. You owe her. You got those tattoos. I should that right out of your chest. Okay? And he's right now, you know, the guy's getting threatened, so he's like ready to go, I guess, you know, and the pimp him, because he had, you know, puffed his chest up. Marcus puffed his chest at the pimp, and the pimp got him, I think, over like 10 times, where he ends up in the ER. It's all over the news. 100%, you guys, it was a setup. You know, this woman completely set Marcus up. Holly 1000% set him up because she was angry. She wanted revenge. She wasn't going to pay her any money back, you know, and she knew that. She knew all he wanted was this toy, which eventually she, you know, was like, I was the toy, you know. I was the tool to get the toys. Y'all, I'm telling you, remember when I told Marcus, this won't end well for you? Listen, y'all, I've always had these premonitions where it's been like, oh, I can see what's going to happen. Right, I could see through the forest. I could see what's going to go down. And him ignoring me, being rude, being disrespectful. Like I said, I was at my wit's end. I wasn't nice to him either. But think about the time frame here, okay? January to June. Hello, 5 months. And he got at the end of that. I knew, okay, desperate times call for desperate measures. You have to be hard on some people. A hard head makes a soft behind. Right? You want to be hard-headed? I'm going to be hard-headed with you. I was trying to make him, his sister, 1000% uncomfortable, because I knew this not going to end well for you. Something bad is going to happen to you. You guys, and that's it. Like I said, you know, I mean, when we are desperate, we attract desperate. And then we can't holler out, oh, I'm a victim, because we were using and abusing as well. Right? Somebody else. There's no victim in this story, even though, you know, he did make it out of the hospital. He did survive it. I remember seeing Marcus at a grocery store in like August, about 2 months after the happened. And I just looked at him and I shook my head and kept walking. He was sitting in his vehicle and I just was like, And I remember he was just staring at me, where, you know, I was just like, I tried to tell him. You know, I mean, later on that month, I had seen him on the jail website. So I was like, oh, for a DUI. So I'm like, well, here he is, underage, getting a DUI. He had took, you know, a turn for the worse for himself. Well, not for the worse, but he wasn't doing okay, you know, and who would be after that, you know? He got set up. You know, he didn't know what he was walking into. And, you know, like I said again, you guys, opposite of desperate is discipline. You know, I don't know what happened to that young man, Marcus. You know, I didn't see Holly for a couple of years after that. Holly never called me and told me anything. It was our mutual friend. I saw her, you know, one day I'm going to the liquor store. I'm walking out. She's, you know, walking in, and she just said, hello, Nikki. I said, well, hello, Holly. And I kept it pushing, because you're not someone who can be around me. You know, and like I told you guys, a mutual friend, she in jail right now, in prison today. So, like I said, it didn't work out well, you know, for people with that, you know, negativity, with those lies, that manipulation. Like I said, they didn't care, you know. Will they learn from it? I don't know. You know, but hopefully this helps somebody where they could say, oh yeah, I see where this is going in my life. This is not going to end well. Somebody that you're abusing is going to do the same thing to you, because that's what you attracted. All right, you guys, allow that to simmer.